What's going on, guys, and thanks again for being here. Today I have the cutest little thing from Sutefoto, size-wise. This is the P-80RGB and it's an 80-watt light, and as you can see by the configuration that I have here, this light should actually give you everything that you want, and this is actually a budget light. It retails for about $219 right now, and speaking of fan noise, I'm gonna get that straight out of the way. The light is on, the fan is running, powering it off. Pretty much the same. So if you're looking for a budget light that does RGB, CCT, effects and everything else, also the ability to actually power outdoors, this is actually the light to be looking at here. At the making of this video, this light currently retails on Amazon for $219, but who knows, maybe sometimes they even throw a little coupon sale there. But this light here, speaking of a budget light, what will be the first thing that you actually expect a light to be made of? Plastic with a noisy fan and everything, right? Actually, even the reflector they sent here, as you can see, this is a pretty decent reflector. And also this entire light here is made of aluminum, starting from the very front, including this ring area here, the entire body, and including the little handle here. This whole thing is made of metal. And the usual disclaimer, Sutefoto sent me this light for me to test it out, and all my words and opinions, they are the same, and I don't get paid to say anything here, and this video is not sponsored by Sutefoto. To compare this is a 2-month-old kitty. Look at that, the light is smaller than the kitty. Actually, I got something better for you, hold on. This is the Godox ML60 and an iPhone 13 Pro Max. As you can see, that's the size. When I put the phone against the light here, the phone is actually bigger than the light, excluding the front little silver thing here. Before I do anything else here, I want to go straight to the point to show you something that you guys don't know right now, because I know you guys just do. Let's talk about fan noise here. So this is the Godox ML60, which is known for having an extremely quiet fan. The light is actually on right now, and the fan is on, as you can see. For interviews and such, besides shotgun microphones, I also use supercardioid condenser microphones, which they are also very sensitive and very directional mics. I can actually touch the microphone, which is exactly 11 inches away from me, pointing at me and at the light at the same time. Nobody would do an interview with the light this close to somebody, right? But anyway, I'm gonna give you 10 seconds of silence here. The light is on, the fan is running. Every time you turn on the light, the fan will run. So I'm gonna give you the 10 seconds here, so you tell me what's going on. So as you can see, the fan is pretty quiet, and the same thing with the Godox ML60 here. When you turn on the light, the fan is also running. Let me turn this off here. About the same distance, to be fair. Same orientation here. So the light is on. This light is on. This is the fan. So I have actually seen this light on Amazon a few weeks ago, and I was watching a couple of reviews there. So the first thing that people were complaining, which makes sense, because why would they put the DC power plug on the bottom of the light, which can actually be very easy to unplug, instead of the thing being on the back of the light? But I don't know if it is just my light, but this thing is actually super tight. I don't see the possibility of this thing actually ejecting out of here. As you can see, you know, if you want to unplug it like this, you will turn it off. But when you actually plug it in here, you know, I'm banging on the thing. This thing is not going anywhere, so I don't see really the disadvantage here, other than, you know, this thing might be in the way or somehow here, you know, depending what you do. Maybe not, because the yoke, if I move the light this way here, the plug is actually passing very clearly here, so honestly, I don't see a problem. When you power on the light, some lights, they have the same mechanical switch that you see here, so it powers on immediately. So every light that's equipped with the press and hold button, it should take about 4 seconds to actually turn on the light. I don't know if that's a big deal to you, but it takes about 4 seconds to actually power the light on. So with the fan noise out of the way, let's talk about all the important things about lighting here. So this has a CRI of 95, and they also measure in QA, which is 96. It also has the HSI, the RGB, which you select each color independently, the effects here, which are many, and back to CCT. This light has a regular bonus mount that will fit any bonus accessory, and by the way, they also sent me a softbox that I'm going to be showing you guys later. There are several ways to power this light. You can simply plug it in the wall here with the included DC adapter. If you want to take it outside, outdoors, in the field, or whatever, they also make this NPF plate, which you can actually insert whatever Sony battery size you want, and this is actually an additional separate purchase. On the back of the panel here features a USB 5V 2 amps, and also a D-tap, which is the main output source, which is actually to power the light, and it comes included with this D-tap cable here, which is pretty generous in size, as you can see. It's about, I would say, at least 4 feet long. And it also features a little gauge here, which you can actually remain on if you want to. If you don't want to, you just power it off here. I actually like it on. It doesn't take any power from the batteries. So again, this gauge here is just give you an idea where you are as far as power, but check this out. My batteries, they have their own little gauge here, the self-illuminated LCD display. I know you guys want to ask me where did I buy this thing from here. So it's going to be listed in the description. At the end of the video, go check it out. And also to power the USB here, make sure this is actually lit blue here, because when you actually have it off, power is cut off from the USB. So to power anything with the USB, make sure you actually turn this gauge on here so power can be output from the USB jack. And of course, it also features a battery lock, which means the battery is not going anywhere. So you press this button here to release the battery, and to put it in is very easy, and it locks right in place here. On the back of the panel here, you're going to find a 15-volt DC input only, which is technically supposed to be charged the batteries, because they also say that this box actually has the ability to charge your Sony NPF batteries. But it didn't really work out for me. I actually tried for an hour and a half or so, and I don't think the charging state changed. I put it back on my charger there, it still says, you know, like 75% charge. I don't know. You can try, good luck, but I don't think that's actually a thing, even though they say they charge the battery. So, but even if it did work for you, the one thing that I like that what they did here, which is actually very smart, because a lot of my other videos regarding any battery, V-mount batteries, Sony batteries, or one of those tube lights, right? For example, here's another tube light, which I actually reviewed, by the way, if you want to see the video later. So let's say the remaining power of the battery here is at, I don't know, 15-20%, and then I decide to actually blast this light to 100% while plugging the AC outlet here at the same time. What's going to happen is you're going to be draining and charging the battery at the same time at a very rapid rate, especially 100%. So this is actually the worst thing you can do to a battery, or this battery, a V-mount battery, any battery. So I would highly recommend, if you want to use this at the same time, charge the battery first at the highest rate, which is 100%, and then you plug it in. The battery should have no stress whatsoever, even if you crank it up to 100%. So the top cable here, for being a D shape, it doesn't let you plug this way or this way. There's only one way to plug, because it has a positive and a negative terminal here. So even though this might seem a little inconvenience to you, they actually made the polarity here in a way that you can actually only face it this way. So there's no way to use the D-tap and the charging port at the same time. Again, because you damage the battery, because a lot of people is going to be charging this thing with the battery pretty much near dead. So they did exactly what I would wish every other light had, so people don't do this. By the way, another way to power this light, you can simply have a D-tap with your V-mount battery to power the light here, because the V-mount battery also outputs the same voltage that you're looking at here. So when you get this optional accessory here, it's going to come with the plate itself. The D-tap is included, and also this light stand mount here is also included, which you can actually mount pretty much anywhere, or any pipe or anything that's round. Another very important thing here, since they actually took into consideration the fact that you can actually power this light outdoors, taking this in the field and all, you're going to be worried about bugs like coming to your LED diodes and actually staining or damaging the bulb. So just like many docs lights, they actually have the same feature here. You notice there's a front glass element here protecting all the LED diodes, which by the way is a very interesting design here, what they did here. So you have the tungsten on the outside, the outer ring here, and then the daylight in the middle, and the RGB right in the center here. Never seen anything like this before. And here are the LED diodes. Right now I'm on the warmer side of the ZCT, and then gradually ramping all the way to 10,000 degrees Kelvin. So all the rings, they actually separate, which is pretty cool. Since the warmer CCT has a slightly larger circle, I guess this light will be slightly brighter when you actually set to the warmer side here, because the circle here is bigger. And here's what the RGB diodes look like, and they're all separate as well, which is pretty interesting. It's nice, actually. And to do a little flickering test here, as you can see, it's set to the lowest 1%, which if this light had to have any flickering, this is going to be asking for trouble right now. So the light at 100%, you can actually get away with a lot of things, but with the light at 1% or 10%, if this thing were to flicker, it's going to be flickering already. And right now here on purpose, now I'm shooting at 1/2000th of a second, as you can see here, and there's no flickering whatsoever from the camera here. And switching to the iPhone exposure, I'm going to tap on the screen there. I'm going to adjust the exposure to whatever shutter this phone is shooting, which is a lot higher probably, because I'm very close to the LEDs. And as you can see, there's no flickering whatsoever. So So right now let's do a little test with the actual original reflector that comes included with this light, and also I have in my hands here from the Godox VL200, which I borrowed from the case, to see what this reflector does, because this is a very nice reflector. So let's test this reflector here first. So when you actually turn it on, you should see a hot spot in the center, which most reflectors they happen this way here, which provides a more directional light. And as you can see here on the outer circle here, you're gonna see a little, a little vignetting or something like that. And let's up the intensity here to see what happens. And this is what this reflector will look like. And also another good thing about this particular bonus mount here, as soon as you install anything such as a reflector, after you hear that click, there's no rattling of any kind, which is pretty good. So right now let's switch reflectors to see what happens here. Right now we have this outer ring here and a little hot spot in the center. Let's borrow the Godox VL200 reflector right here, and let's see what happens. I think this bonus mount here is slightly too high, so I think it's gonna be a little bit of a trouble here to actually finally click the thing. It's not doing it. So, but anyway, I'm gonna show you guys, it's the same exact spot here in the same outer ring. So there's nothing wrong with that reflector, and there's nothing wrong with this light here, because this is actually a very nice reflector, and that's an expensive light, the Godox VL200. Now on the actual VL200, when you actually put the reflector here, it clicks and everything. So let's see, the other reflector should also mount here. Okay. Yeah, it does. Now I'm gonna show you guys the softbox. That's an optional purchase here. It comes with this nice case. The softbox is actually inside. And to remove the softbox here is very easy, as you can see. And what I like the most is because they also come with the pre-built little rods here instead of the old school stuff. So to set this up is a breeze. And the softbox is actually the perfect size for this particular light here, for being 80 watts. Everything they need to keep everything compact. And of course I'm going to be showing you guys here how the softbox looks like on a person if you want to do an interview or anything like that. So this is what the softbox looks like. Provides a very nice, decent soft light, and everything again is super compact. This is about 24 inches or 60 centimeters softbox, which is very nice and shallow here. Everything nice and compact to go with the light, the size, and the actual wattage of the light. This is the ideal softbox size and also the length of the softbox here, because if you use a huge modifier, the longer the thing is here, the more hard time the light's gonna have to actually cut through all the diffusion materials, which is usually 2. The softbox comes only with the front baffle or diffuser here. It does not come with the inner center diffuser here. Also keep in mind that whatever modifier that you mount on this light or any light, you're always going to change the color temperature slightly, because these things are white enough but not actually 100% transparent. So you're actually dealing with something else here, so keep that in mind. Also, you should always keep in mind to always be sure that you wash your hands before you actually touch materials like this or any softbox, because if you get this thing dirty, and then you're gonna definitely alter your color temperature. So make sure this thing is as white as possible. And on the back of the softbox here, which is my favorite, it has the built-in rods right here. As you can see, it's not the old school thing that you have to have a little bit of a hard time mounting the softbox. Now I'm going to be showing you guys here how to properly set up the softbox. To a lot of people this might seem like it's a no-brainer, but I actually seen a lot of people actually doing this wrong and actually damaging the wires here. So the first thing that you want to do is to make sure you unvelcro everything. And also be gentle with this part here. Don't like rip it like this, because if you actually rip with a lot of force, you might damage this thing here. So when you actually undo the Velcro here, just do it nice and slow, so you can actually stop gently at the end here, so you don't rip anything, right? So the most important thing to set this up here is the actual rods, if you don't want to bend or damage anything. So this is actually self-explanatory. When you actually rise this, you're gonna hear that click. You keep doing this. And don't hold from the wire, hold from the thickest part of the actual rod here. And then when you actually reach about halfway here, stop. And this is actually when I have my little stool here to show you guys here. If this was a bigger modifier, I would actually have to put this on the floor, because the technique here to avoid any damage on a softbox or any softbox, you're supposed to bend the rods on the opposite way that you're actually working over here. So you actually reduce the stress to about 75%. Because if you keep going this way, it's going to be very hard on a wire here. So what you want to do next, before you finish doing this here, you're supposed to bend the wire the opposite side, right? So you're working right here, so you start bending it So you reduce the stress a lot, so you don't damage anything here. Just keep doing that. For each rod, bend it, and then the whole thing is actually assembled here. And then you want to come here and actually make sure you tuck in the velcros. You can also go from under here and finishing doing this here, like so. This is actually a very tight fit in the softbox here. That's why sometimes you have to kind of put your hand inside here. And then you have two options. You can actually leave the last one undone. You can actually grab the softbox this way. You can also aim the light about, I don't know, 45 degrees this way here, whatever you want to do. You can also choose the ring to rotate or not by tightening this knob here. So first, before I mount the softbox, I actually align where it's gonna go, and then I lock it down. And then you grab firmly the light here, and then you rotate to the left side, and the softbox is assembled. And here's what it looks like at 1%. Another thing that I like what most manufacturers are doing is because some lights, even at 1%, is actually too bright for being 1%. So they don't balance this right. So the 1% looks like this already, and then the 100% looks like that. That's fine. But this light here, when you actually go all the way down to 1%, you can actually see this gentleness here. So again, I'm going to turn it off, and then 1%. Let me do this again here. 1%. There you go. I'm shooting at f4, which is a very dark lens, and the ISO is 640, and the shutter is 1/90th of a second. So you get this with the 1%. If you're shooting at f1.4, f1.8, whatever, you're probably going to be looking like this here with the light at 1%. But still, it's a very gentle thing, which is pretty cool. So right now with the light about, I don't know, a foot away from me, I'm just going to set the exposure here to probably 12%. I should be lit pretty well as far as I can see on my monitor there. And here's the 5600 degrees Kelvin, and then this is the 2700 all the way to 10,000 degrees Kelvin. And also when you actually ramp up or down the color temperature, there's no jumping. Everything is very smooth, as you can see here, or smooth enough. You can see some occasional jumping, but when you actually set this light to a particular color temperature, I don't know why you would be changing the color temperature doing an actual recording, right? Unless you want to do like an effect of some sort. So I think this light is actually doing a pretty good job for what it cost. And the same exact thing on HSI, as you can see, there's no jumping. Everything is nice and smooth, or smooth enough. Another thing that I want to point out here before you change the angle of this light, since this yoke is actually half a yoke, it's more like a L-shaped bracket here. I wish this whole thing was a complete U, which makes the light more secure when you actually change the angle. For example, this knob here, as soon as you loosen it, make sure you're actually holding the light with this other hand here. Otherwise, it's gonna cause the whole thing to be wobbly, and then you might damage the teeth here if you actually do something that you're not supposed to. So again, just hold the light first to keep it aligned here with this, and then you actually change the angle here, because these teeth, they're very nice. This thing's gonna hold whatever modifier that you attach here. It can be a huge softbox, it's not going to be a problem. As long as you have a nice stand, this light will take it. And given the size of the light, to keep everything making sense, everything portable, yes, you can actually mount a huge modifier here, but why would you want to do that? It's only 80 watts of power, and don't forget that it has to be cutting through all those layers of diffusion or the huge modifier, the softbox they want to install it here, and also the 80 watts to actually travel all the way to the front of the light, especially on a parabolic light. You're going to lose a lot of light intensity, so huge modifiers requires huge lights. So I have this angle here, and then align it, and then you let it go. Tighten it down to set it up to a higher angle. Let me get this out of the way here. And then observe the alignment here, and then you actually tighten it down, no problem. But if you don't do that, trust me, you're gonna damage the teeth here. And again, with the fan noise, the light is actually right here pointing straight at this microphone here. Nobody's gonna do an interview this way, right? So let me actually back this up here to a fair distance. Microphone this way here. Where's the fan noise? I don't hear anything. Now to disassemble the softbox is the same exact concept here. First you want to unvelcro here, and be careful not to rip the ends of the sewing here. So take your time, because this takes no time actually, right? So it should look like this here. And then again, the same exact thing, bend it so you don't have a lot of stress on the wires. Keep doing that. And then when you are actually halfway, you don't need to bend it anymore, because there's no stress here anymore. And as you can see, if you follow my directions, the wires, they are not bent. As you can see, they are always going to be straight like that. So there's no damage whatsoever on the wires here. Hopefully you can see this on camera here. They're always straight, including the very beginning of the wire here. There's no damage whatsoever. Now, if you don't bend the rods, most likely it will damage this rods here, especially if you put force right here. Always grab from this part here with a thumb and everything, right? And as you can see here, the softbox only comes with a single diffuser outside. There's nothing inside here like a secondary diffuser. And by the way, this thing is actually thicker than most softboxes that I've seen. This is actually a very thick material, which acts like a double diffuser anyway. And to put this away, first of all, you have to put the Velcro back here so you don't wrinkle unnecessarily the material, and keep the softbox nice and neat when you actually put it back. And there's no need to remove the baffle or diffuser here. Slightly punch it in here, and then you hug the thing, and you put it back in the case this way. So next time you actually open the softbox, everything is ready to go. All you have to do is to start messing with the rods here, and you're good to go. And this is the bag that this comes with. It has a nice handle here, and the zipper, they're pretty decent. And I was actually very surprised to find so much padding inside this, because most bags like that with soft boxes, they only use the actual fabric here, but no padding whatsoever. This one here has at least 5 millimeters of padding inside. You can even use this for something else, like a bigger light or whatever. As you can see, the whole thing fits very easily. And then you zip it down here, good to go. And here's the back of the light. To power it on, it takes about 4 seconds. Press and hold the power button. Apparently there's no firmware of any kind. So here's your channel and group button, which you change using this knob here from 01 all the way to 12. And when you press it again, it goes from group A all the way to group F. And here's the brightness setting using this knob here from 0% to 1% increments. If you actually dial this way here, that's when you actually change the fastest to 100%. And the CCT ranging from 2800 degrees Kelvin in 100 Kelvin increments all the way to 10,000 degrees Kelvin. When you press the set button, first it lets you control the color temperature, and then press it again, it lets you control the green magenta shift correction, which goes from 0, which is neutral, all the way to -10, or all the way +10. So right now I'm at 5600 degrees Kelvin at 0, and then this side here, minus, is towards the green, and the other side is towards the magenta. Pressing this button here several times is going to switch from the CCT to the HSI to the RGB, effects, and back to the CCT mode. So when you press this button, it's going to take you to the HSI. Here's the intensity or brightness, saturation, and the hue. On HSI, the set button allows you to control the hue. Press it again, control the saturation, and for the brightness, all you have to do is to rotate this button here. It automatically does the intensity for you there. Now the saturation of this light here is pretty nice, because when you actually start to decrease the saturation, for example at 80%, you still have a nice deal of green over there. A lot of lights, as soon as you pass this point here, is pretty much white, and this light here will gradually do that for you, which is good. I just wish that when you hit 100% here, it will stop right there. So if you keep going, it's going to go back to 0, as you can see here. So I wish you could stop at 100. So you have to be very careful, otherwise it's going to go all the way again to 0 there. That I don't like. Now the RGB here, as long as everything is set to 0, you can actually set only the red, or the blue, green, or the daylight, or tungsten. For example here, I have the brightness to 20 something, 40 something. It's only red. The next one, you can actually adjust the green only, and so forth. Now with the effects here without the app, not only you can adjust the brightness here, but this light allows you to control the frequency as well. So don't press the set buttons, because it's going to be changing the effect here. Just simply rotate, and then you have from frequency number 1 to number 10. This is like how often the effect or how fast it's going to go here. Now when you press the set button, that's when you change the effects, such as the police, the fire truck, ambulance, fire. On the fireworks here, I really wish you used the RGB colors, but you only use the CCT. But anyway, next will be the faulty bulb. Next will be the TV, and again you control the frequency by dialing this knob here. Don't press it in. The next will be the RGB circle, which again the frequency is going to be the slowest as 1 and the fastest as 10. Press it again is the last effect, which is the paparazzi. Again, you can control the frequency, how often the flash fires. Then back to the lightning. And then you press this button again, takes you back to the first page, which is the CCT. And over here, if you notice, there's a little temperature gauge here, which is kind of cool. It lets you know how hot the light is getting. Right now, currently, the temperature is at 29 degrees Celsius. So if you guys don't understand Celsius degrees, to give you an idea, the human body temperature is about 38-ish degrees Celsius, which means this light is actually cooler than my body temperature right now. So let's take a look at the app here, which I'm assuming most of you guys will want to control the light using the app. So this is the SS LED, and then you launch the app. This other two here is the other Sutefoto lights that I have. So all you have to do on the top right side, click on the add device, as you can see here, and the thing immediately appears. You select and then add to my devices. Done. Go back one step. And as you can see, each one has a Bluetooth ID, so you either put a piece of tape here on if you have several of these lights. So this light is that one, this light is the other one here. So since this is the only light being turned on right now, as you can see on the TP-80RGB all the way on the bottom, it has an orange little link here. This is obviously the light that's actually being on right now. So click in here, and then you have your intensity and all here, your color temperature, your green magenta correction, as you can see there, which you can obviously see is actually changing the actual magenta and green there, which is pretty cool. So I'm gonna set this to 0 for now. And then the HSI here, as you can see, there's no jumping of any kind. It's very smooth, actually smooth enough. Again, this is a $200 light, not a $1,000 light. But you know, as you up the intensity, the ramping is gonna be even smoother, as you can see here. And as you drag this to the inner circle there, that's when you control your saturation and all. This is very easy. You can also set specifically, for example, tap on the hue here. If you want to go to the green, let's go to the 40 first. It's going to be a little bit orange, as you can see. Click it again. 120 should take you to the green. Confirm. And just one more. 240. It's going to take you to the blue, right? And then the saturation, the same exact thing. You can do like, 58%. Confirm. And then click on again. For 100%, that's going to give you the full blue. And the RGB CW, you can actually have the red only, the green only, the blue, and the cold CCTs, and actually the warm CCTs. Obviously, you can actually mix the colors here if you like. But on the RGB alone, I like the luxury to just quickly set red only, green only. Otherwise, I go to the HSI and then play with the colors this way here, right? And then the effects here, as you can see, you have the police car. You adjust the frequency here to super slow, all the way to super fast, and of course the intensity here. And each effect, each one on CCT, HSI, you can actually set a particular intensity here, and it's going to be remembering that particular intensity. When you set this intensity here to 15%, you go back to the HSI, so I have a 36% here. On CCT is actually a 15%, which is pretty cool. Now there are two ways to control these lights, separate or together. So on the actual app here, you click apply to current device only. So what happens is only the other light is actually going to be responding. And this is actually the light that you currently logged in. When you actually click on the other one and do the same thing, apply to current device, and then their light only is going to be responding. See, that's how easy that is. Now the easiest way, so you don't confuse yourself here, you can also change manually the group and channel number on each individual light, which I prefer doing. So I'm going to show you guys right now how to do that. Now each light is on a different group, but the same channel number, for example. So we go back here. Let me log in this light here, I guess. And then as you can see, only one will respond, even if you switch here, apply to current device, or control center, all devices, still only one light is going to respond. So I find this method to be the easiest way. So I can put this one on CCT, and it looks like this, and that light is not going to do anything. And then I log in on the other light, which is in the middle here, the 83ED is this light right here, and then you can actually control the light individually as well. So I think, in my opinion, this is actually the best setup. So again, just make sure that each one is on a different group or channel number. On the main page, again, the bottom right, which says group, I'm not going to be spending the whole time here, but this is actually self-explanatory. All you have to do on the top left, click on this little plus sign here. You can actually name a group, confirm and all. You can also delete the group later. This is self-explanatory, so I'm going to keep this as short as possible. The only thing that's most important here is to show you guys how easy it is to connect these lights and how to operate these lights together or separate. I'm going to show you guys what comes included with this case. Before I even open, you'll notice there's some Velcro here that you can attach some other soft boxes or whatever accessories that you want. The top compartment here comes with the power supply and the cables here, the power cord. And it comes with this little divider here. I wish this thing was kind of Velcro so it actually flaps, but anyway. The reflector, I would actually recommend that you actually save the shipping stuff. It's always a good idea. It also comes with this little bag handle here. I never use this. I also save this. I highly recommend that. Now to put this light back in the case here without giving a headache, just observe this 45-degree angle. This is the only way you fit. And then you start here first and then the back of the light. And as you can see, this fits here perfectly. If you don't do this, you're not going to be able to put this back in here. Then put the reflector. Now if you decided to purchase these extra accessories here, there's not really a outside pocket with a zipper or anything like that. So, you don't want to do this here because you're going to damage the reflector, right? So what I did was I went to Hobby Lobby. You want to go to the fabric department. You'll be able to spot this right away there. This is like a fabric this way here. It has a foam on the other side. You will see it over there. I actually packed this way here. As you can see, put a little Velcro there. This you actually find at Home Depot, this type of Velcro. And then you fold it this way here. And there you go. You can actually put this right here. Look at that. Now for these things here, you just put them out this way and the tap cable right here. I'm doing this quick and dirty because I'm a lot more neat than this. And you actually put it right here so nothing scratches or damages anything. This thing here serves no purpose because it's gonna flap out like that, so I don't use this. I'm actually gonna cut this somewhere. And don't forget to put this here. Make sure this is actually facing outwards, and then you close it out. And there you go. And that's the end of my review. I hope you enjoyed this video. For more contents like this, please consider subscribing to my channel. And if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them down in the comment section. I'll respond to everything that I see there. So once again, thanks for being here. Thanks for watching my video, and I'll see you next time.